of racing, the Daytona International Speedway will host tonight one of its most anticipated races in its history outside the Daytona 500. One more race, one more chance to lock themselves into NASCAR's playoffs. Welcome to the final race of the 2020 NASCAR Cup Series regular season at the Daytona International Speedway, the Coke Zero Sugar 400. And welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the MDK Studios, and welcome back to the episode of the MDK Race Day. My name is Jett Krause, and I'm going to get you filled up with everything you need to know for tonight's NASCAR Cup Series regular season finale, the Coke Zero Sugar 400 from the Daytona International Speedway. But before we get into that, let's talk about some news heading into today's race. And we're going to start off first with the rumor that circulated at the start of the week, and it involved Michael Jordan, Denny Hamlin, Toyota, and Richard Petty Motorsports. If you watched the last episode of Inside the Lines, we talked about a rumor swirling around that Denny Hamlin might bring in Michael Jordan and the Jordan brand to invest in Richard Petty Motorsports. Also with the announcement that will go along with that collaboration of RPM switching from Chevrolet to Toyota. Well, Bob Pockrass tweeted this out a few days after I posted that video. He says, simply put, that a Michael Jordan spokesman told me on August 13th and yesterday that there's no truth at all to the rumor that Jordan is buying into RPM, and that took place on August 26th. Which, again, that's something that it was a rumor that we would have loved to have happened, but I think it's safe to say we kind of had a feeling it wasn't going to happen. It was sort of a rumor that we hoped it would be true, but at the same time, if you want to be realistic, there's a very slim chance of that happening. I mean, we haven't seen Jordan really, except for being part of Denny Hamlin's fire suit, we haven't seen any Jordan brand be connected at all with NASCAR, not with a sponsor on Hamlin's car, not with anything with Joe Gibbs, no, nothing like that. The only time we've ever seen the Jordan brand was on the fire suit of Hamlin's, or the logos on Hamlin's fire suit. That's about it. So it was a bit of a stretch, but hey, we were at least hoping for some good things to happen in 2020. Now, although the rumor between Michael Jordan, that's now a dead end, the rumor with Hamlin and Richard Petty Motorsports, on the other hand, could still be possibly on the table. During an interview with Bob Pockrass, Denny Hamlin talked about what's going on between Richard Petty Motorsports and the future of his NASCAR career.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have anything to announce or to speak about when it comes to it. I think that I'm always looking towards what I'm going to do after my driving career is over. I've got some great partners that support me and my decisions, what I will do for years to come. So I don't know. I wish I had something to announce, but I really don't. There's a lot of things up in the air that are still getting worked on. But I've got to win this weekend and next weekend, and that's where I've got to focus. But certainly I believe that, no matter what, my career will be with Joe Gibbs Racing and FedEx as long as I want to drive.
Okay, so that was a politically correct answer from Denny Hamlin. He didn't say yes, but he also didn't say no. All he said was, I don't have anything to announce yet, which could mean something could be happening and he's not ready to announce it. You could, you could come with your own conclusion, but that's what I got from Hamlin's comments. So very interesting how he sort of looked around for a bit, paused, and then said nothing to announce yet. He also talked about how he has things up in the air after his driving career is finished. So, it's not dead in the water, but it does leave you a big question. What could Hamlin be talking about? Things up in the air for, regarding the future of his career when he's done driving. Okay, what does that mean? Does it like an ownership in JGR or possibly Richard Petty Motorsports? What's going to happen? Or what's he talking about? And speaking of Richard Petty Motorsports, let's just say if Hamlin is not the guy, then who is? Remember, a celebrity was, or at least it was rumored that a celebrity would invest in Richard Petty Motorsports. And we also have to look back at Bubba Wallace's interview at Michigan on Saturday, or a few weeks ago. He talked about how there's this big deal in the works regarding whether we don't know for sure if it was with Richard Petty Motorsports or with himself, but we still don't know what that big announcement is. So it's still a lot of lingering questions regarding the future of RPM, Bubba Wallace, and we can even say Denny Hamlin. But we know right now, as long as JGR wants him in the car, Hamlin will stay. so we can get rid of this rumor of him maybe. I've heard people say potentially him going to Hendrick, because there's a photo of him with Rick Hendrick and Jeff Gordon on a boat. Obviously, Gordon, he owns a 48 car. You can see why those rumors started swirling around, but Hamlin said as long as JGR wants him in the car, he's going to stay at the 11 team at Joe Gibbs Racing. Now on to the lower division, the NASCAR Xfinity Series. Noah Gragson, who has been having the best career so far of his young NASCAR career, started on Twitter trolling everybody. He posted just a simple emoji of a pen. That's it. And Twitter went wild. I don't think I even said anything, mainly because I knew he wasn't going to go to the 48 car. He wasn't ready for the 48 car. He wasn't ready for Cup. I knew he wasn't going to take over full time next year. So I thought more than likely he would re-sign with Junior Motorsports, and he did just that yesterday. He will return to Junior Motorsports for the 2021 NASCAR Xfinity Series season. Like I said, Gragson has had a career best so far this season. 2 wins, the one at Daytona in February and Bristol later that year. 10 top 5s and a 9.7 average finish. He's had a really good start to the season so far. Currently not one of the best drivers right now. That goes to Briscoe and the 22 of Cindric. But right now he has been the best of the Chevrolets. So, hey. He's had a good season. You can't blame him for that. So good for him to get re-signed back in for next year. You still gotta watch it though on those wrecks. Just saying. Finally we go down one step below to the NASCAR Gainer RV and Outdoor Truck Series. Now, next weekend, the Truck Series will be making their return to the Darlington Raceway for the first time since 2011. And one driver will be making their return for the first time since Texas last fall in a truck. That's right. I'm talking about 2-time Southern 500 winner Greg Biffle will be making his return to the NASCAR Truck Series, driving the number 24 truck for GMS Racing. Now, how GMS made this announcement was pure gold. They put up a simple photo of just an equation, let's just say, of a simple equation with numbers and subtractions and additions. You can see it on screen right now. Well, if you add them up together, it equals to 69. If you know Greg Biffle, him and the 69, the number 69, it goes hand in hand. There's a whole thing about it on social media. If you guys don't know about it, look it up. You'll be very entertained. But Greg Biffle, if you're on social media, Greg Biffle always aligns with the number 69. So when people add up that equation and it ended up being 69, a lot of people were assuming that had to do something with Greg Biffle. And they confirmed that announcement later that day. Not only did they announce Greg Biffle returning to the Truck Series and piloting the number 24 truck, they also released, I think, 5 throwback paint schemes at once. For Sheldon Creed, the number 2 truck, it throws back to Jimmy Johnson's off-road days in the mid to late 90s. The 21 truck, obviously, when you think of the 21 car in NASCAR, you think of the Wood Brothers, and the number 21 Motorcraft 4 throws back to David Pearson. The number 23 truck, that throws back to Bobby Allison's time when he was driving the number 3 Buick Miller car. And then next to him, one of my favorite paint scheme, the number 24 truck that will be driven by Greg Biffle. That's throwing back to Ricky Hendrick, the son of Rick Hendrick, when he won his first and only NASCAR Series win back in Kansas Speedway in 2001. And then the number 26 truck, Tyler Ankrum, it throws back the days of the last great American hero, Junior Johnson. Like I said, all 5 of these paint schemes, they are absolutely gorgeous, but I think that Ricky Hendrick car, to me, I like it the most. Just the way how the truck is designed, just the way it looks. I really, really like the 24 truck the best. And hopefully Greg Biffle can go 2 in a row in his return to the Truck Series. He won the last time we saw him in NASCAR in the Truck Series at Texas when he drove for Kyle Busch Motorsports. Now he's driving in a Chevrolet for GMS Racing, and hopefully he can have the same amount of success in Darlington next week. And now let's transition to us previewing tonight's Coke Zero Sugar 400. Now, if you know Daytona's the type of track where if you're in it, you can win it. And even though that is the case, when you take a look at the odds to win for this race, it's leaning onto the favorites that we have seen throughout the entire season. The top 3, Hamlin, Logano, and Harvick. Hamlin, a 3-time Daytona 500 champion with the best of odds, 7-1 chance. Joe Logano, the 2015 champion, and Kevin Harvick, the 2007 champion of the 500, each with a 9-1 shot at winning. Brad Keselowski, of course, he's going to be a threat on the super speedways. him and teammate Ryan Blaney, who won at Talladega earlier in the year, both with a 10-1 shot. Chase Elliott, who won at Talladega back last year in 2019, he has a 12-1 shot at winning in the Night Owl Hooters Camaro ZL1. Teammates Kyle Busch and Martin Truex Jr. 14-1 for Kyle and 16-1 for Truex. And Jimmy Johnson in his final start at Daytona, he arrives in with an 18-1 chance. Kurt Busch, the 2017 champion of the 500, enters in with an 18-1 chance of winning, as well as a 2017 winner of the Coke Zero Sugar 400, Ricky Stenhouse Jr. Four drivers: Alex Bowman, Eric Almirola, who won here back in 2014 in a rain-delayed race, Clint Bowyer and Eric Jones all entering with a 20-1 shot at winning, and William Brown with a 25-1 chance, with Matt DiBenedetto with a 31 chance, and rookie Christopher Bell with a 33-1 shot at winning. And like I said at the start of this video, this will be the final race of the regular season. And coming into Daytona, this is what the playoff standings look like. The last three drivers are in: Clint Bowyer with a 57-point gap, Matt DiBenedetto with a 9-point gap, and William Brown holds the 16th and final spot with a 4-point gap ahead of Jimmy Johnson. Eric Jones in 18th, and Tyler Reddick, he's too far back to get in on points. He needs a win if he wants to have a shot at winning, or at least have a shot at putting himself in the playoffs. Now, thank you to NASCAR.com. They provided us with information on playoff clinch scenarios for the Ford, or at least for the drivers that are in, let's just say, the danger zone, like Bowyer, Johnson, Byron, DiBenedetto, and Eric Jones. So this is what needs to happen for drivers who lock themselves into the playoffs if there is a new winner. Clint Bowyer, all he needs to do, if there's a new winner, he just needs to earn 3 points, and he can get it as early as stage 1. So if he finishes, let's say, 3rd in stage 1, he is locked in into the playoffs. However, Matt DiBenedetto, he's going to do a lot more. He has to earn 51 points in order to secure his spot of keeping himself into the playoffs, while teammates William Byron and Jimmy Johnson, they're going to need to clinch with a lot of help if there is a new winner. However, if there is a repeat winner, like for example, a driver, let's say, that has won a race so far already in 2020, like a Kevin Harvick, like a Denny Hamlin, or if there's a driver that's already in the playoffs, like an Eric Almirola, a Kurt Busch, or a Kyle Busch, Bowyer, he will automatically lock in. Matt DiBenedetto wanted to do so much work, he would lock in with 47 points. William Brown would clinch with 52 points needed, while Jimmy Johnson and Eric Jones, they will all need help. Let's say maybe a great finish and have the other drivers of, let's say, a Byron or DiBenedetto have trouble in the race. For Jones, he's going to need a miracle. He's going to need Johnson to struggle. He's going to need Byron and Matt DiBenedetto to struggle as well. Bowyer, he's more than likely going to be safe. I mean, he has a massive point gap. Like I said, if there's a new winner, he just needs to finish 7th. Let's say, 7th in stage 1, and he's already locked in. And basically, the only thing Clint Bowyer has to do is finish the race. If he can just finish the race, he'll be good. So Bowyer, he's in the picture, but very slightly. I wouldn't worry about him. The main focus is going to be on DiBenedetto, Johnson, and Byron, because only 13 spots separate between 15th and 17th heading into Daytona. And when you know how chaotic Daytona can be, specifically in those last few laps of the stages, even before we get to the end of the race, they can be very chaotic. You're going to be on your toes. So we're going to look for those 3 drivers that are going to be, I guess you could say, the main drivers going to be looking at throughout the entirety of the race. And speaking of those drivers that we're going to have to look at throughout the entirety of the race, let's see where they start. For the starting grid for tonight's Coke Zero Sugar 400, like we said earlier in the shows a few weeks ago, NASCAR brought out this new formula to create a more fair starting grid. No surprise here, Kevin Harvick, he's on the pole, and to the outside of him in row number 1 is the 19 car, I should say, of Martin Truex Jr. Row 2 has teammates Joe Logano and Brad Keselowski, 2 drivers that are very good on the restrictor plates, as well as 5th place driver Eric Almirola with William Byron to his outside. Row 4 has Hendrick teammates Jimmy Johnson and Alex Bowman, and rounding out the top 10 is Ryan Blaney and Denny Hamlin. Row 6 has Kyle Busch and 2018 Daytona 500 champion Austin Dillon, and row 7 has Kurt Busch, and to the outside, Clint Bowyer. Row 8 has Matt DiBenedetto, one of those drivers that is trying to keep his playoff spot 9 points above the cut line, To his outside is rookie Cole Custer. Another rookie behind him is Tyler Reddick in 18th place in row 9. To his inside is the 17 Ford of Chris Buescher. Row 10 has Matt Kenseth on the inside, and Eric Jones, who won this race back in 2018, starts 20th. And in row 11 is Bubba Wallace and Ryan Newman. Row 12 has Christopher Bell and John Nemechek, both rookies, 23rd and 24th. And row 13 is a couple of Fords of Corey LaJoie and Michael McDowell. Row 14 is Chase Elliott, 27th on the grid after he was caught up in that accident very early on in the race. In the second race, I should say, last weekend at Dover. He will start alongside the 37 car of Ryan Preece. Row 15 has Ty Dillon, number 13 car, and Daniel Suarez in the 96 Toyota. Row 16 has Ricky Stenhouse Jr. Even though he's starting 31st, he's going to be a driver to watch out for. And to his outside is the 15 car of Brendan Poole. Row 17 has JJ Yeley in the 27 car and Quinn Half in the 00 car. Row 18 has Timmy Hill and Ross Chastain, who nearly won yesterday's NASCAR Xfinity Series race at Daytona. He was second place right behind his teammate AJ Allmendinger before them two made contact in turn 4 and crash on the final lap. That allowed his teammate Justin Haley to take home the victory. Row 19 has Joey Gase and James Davidson, and rounding out the field is Josh Bilicki and Brendan Gaughan competing in his final Daytona start. Okay, now it's time. Who do I think is going to race their way into the playoffs today? Well, I have no clue, but I do have a driver that I want to look out for, and that is that 47 car of Ricky Stenhouse Jr. He has won 2 times on the restrictor place, 2017 both at Daytona, I should say at Talladega in May, I believe, and later that year, July, at Daytona under the lights. So we know he can get the job done on the super speedways. However, he's also been known to cause a lot of major wrecks. I look back at 2018 when him and Kyle Busch and I think him and William Byron, he caused a lot of wrecks in 2018 at Daytona. So he's a driver that he can make a lot of noise and potentially spoil the party and lock himself into the playoffs. But he can also be that driver that could create a wreck and could cause drivers in the playoffs that are trying to fight their way into the playoffs, like a Jimmy Johnson or Matt DiBenedetto, to get caught up in an accident. So watch out for the 47 car. If he's in this, if he's going to be in the mix, be very careful. Be very aware of him. As for drivers like Johnson and Byron, we do know that their plan heading into Daytona is to work together. That's what Johnson has said in multiple interviews. And the 2018, they say they're going to work with the 2014, which I understand. But at some point, let's say when you might work your way up into the, maybe towards the front of the field, but once you get near the end of the stages, you gotta start worrying about yourself. I mean, if there's an opportunity for you to lead the 24 out to dry so you can grab some stage points, or let's say if you can lead the 48 out to drive, go for it. You have to think about yourself at some point during the end of these stages. It's like, okay, let's work together, but with 5 laps to go at the end of each stage, every man for himself. Now, luckily for Matt DiBenedetto, he doesn't have any teammates, or at least he's not fighting anyone from the Ford camp that are trying to race away in the playoffs compared to Jimmy Johnson and William Byron. Matt DiBenedetto, first of all, he's in a Ford, and we know how good the Fords are on the super speedways. Again, Ryan Blaney won the last super speedway race, I was going to say restrictor plate race, at Talladega. So DiBenedetto, we're going to see him more than likely work with the Penske drivers of Logano, Keselowski, and Blaney. We know they're going to be fast, so DiBenedetto, he's going to be able to put up a fight, I feel like, and be up front. Even though he's starting 15th on the grid, I still think he's going to get his way back up to the front quickly. Remember, he led the most laps in the Daytona 500 back in 2019, so he knows how to lead and how to run well in the super speedways. And on top of that, he's got Ford horsepower underneath his hood. He's going to be a factor. Johnson and Byron, we know the Chevrolets, at least in recent years, they have been really, really good. It's just that, again, they've got to work together. The Ford drivers smoked them the past few years, and it took Chevy and Toyota drivers to work together in order to beat them. I think now in 2020, you're going to see the Chevy drivers work more accordingly compared to previous years. You're going to see the Hendrick drivers work more. You're going to see RCR work with Hendrick probably. But it's going to be a very interesting race. It's going to be a manufacturer called race. You're going to see the Toyotas work together. You're going to see the Fords work together. You're going to see the Chevy teams work together. But again, for drivers like Johnson and Byron, At one point, do you break those rules in order to go, race for yourself? 4 points. That is nothing. That is nothing. 4 points is nothing. I mean, you could gain 4. You can already take the lead already, or at least take over the 16th spot after one stage. So it's going to be a very interesting race. As much as I do not like them moving Daytona from July to August, mainly for weather purposes, no weather is affected in this race tonight. It's going to be a very fun, very exciting race, and hopefully it does put on a good show for the fans. And hopefully, look, as a race fan, I'm just hoping it's for a good show, but obviously, if you know me, you know my channel, I am a bit biased. I am a 48 fan, so I'm hoping Johnson can get the job done, but if he doesn't, then he doesn't. But I'm overall hoping for a very fun and exciting race. Remember, we also understand that this is Daytona. We can't just really focus on Johnson and Byron and DiBenedetto. You have drivers like Reddick. You have drivers like Stenhouse. You have drivers like maybe Bubba Wallace. Maybe you have Matt Kenseth. There are, again, if you're in it, you can win it. How about a Ryan Newman? Hopefully he get redemption from what happened to him back in Daytona in February. Chris Buescher in the 17 car. There are a lot of drivers that could spoil the party. I think that's what makes this race even that much more exciting. It's not like what we saw last year when the season finale, or the regular season finale, was Indianapolis, where only a select few drivers had a shot at winning. Tonight, everybody has a shot at winning, and that's why this race is going to be a lot of fun to watch. I'm not going to pick who I think is going to make the playoffs because I have no clue. Again, the bias of me wants to pick Jimmie Johnson, but if I want to be neutral, I have no idea who's going to win. Who knows? You could have a Christopher Bell come out of nowhere and win. A John Nemechek win. Or it's anyone has a shot at winning, and that's why this race is now going to be so much fun to watch. You're going to be on your toes a lot, specifically if you're, one of those drivers that, or if your favorite driver is going to be in the playoff bubble, because you're going to be hoping that, no one, first of all, you're going to hoping that no one gets caught up in a crash, and also hopefully no new winners could spoil the party and change everything. But it's Daytona. It could possibly happen, but that is it. I'm done rambling on. That is it for the MDK Race Day show from the Daytona International Speedway. Tell me what are you guys' thoughts in the comment section down below. Who do you think is not only going to win the race, but who do you think will make their way into the playoffs? Do you think it will be Jimmie Johnson, William Byron, or some other driver in the field? Leave all your thoughts down below. But until next time, my name is Jack Cross from MDK. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more content, and I'll see you guys next time.